Hi, I'm Norm. Converting your automatic transmission gear selector knob to a custom stone knob is usually a simple process requiring only basic mechanical skills. However, cars differ in how these plastic gear selector knobs are attached and how they function. We will determine in advance whether your car is amenable to the adaptation. If it is not, I will refund your money. If the car will take the adaptation, but installing it will disable certain functions, such as the manual override switch, you will have to make some choices as to what matters more to you. If the manual override is more important to you than the knob, you will receive a refund. Having expressed these caveats, and in very general terms, this is the process. The first thing you must do is remove the leather or PU leather boot. This will inevitably be connected to a trim ring or mounting plate on the console. If you have plastic tools for interior work, you can use one to pry loose the trim panel. But there is a shortcut if it works. The shortcut is to grasp the leather or PU leather boot, not the shifter, only the leather boot, and pull directly up. This will often snap off the connecting trim panel. With the shaft exposed, move the boot up over the plastic gear selector. Now, if you have a manual override option and a switch on your automatic gear selector knob, there will be a wiring harness that has a cartridge attached, usually in the front of the shaft. To install the stone knob, you must disconnect this switch by pulling the cartridge free. Once you do that, the manual override switch on the front of the automatic gear selector knob will no longer function because it won't exist any longer. Most cars will still run just fine, but that also depends on the model. The manual override will no longer exist. After any wiring is disconnected, I should warn you that before handling any wiring, you should disconnect the negative terminal of the battery. But having done so and disconnected any wiring, and there may be no wiring, there are various ways that the plaster selector knob is held in place. Some screw on. Beware the ones that are held on with a metal crimped clamp, because you will have to cut that and then replace it with a metal threaded hose clamp or bracelet when you put the assembly back together. This vehicle has no crimped clamp or other attaching mechanism, so it would appear that the selector knob is held on by friction. In other words, it's tight, not threaded. There are various ways of removing it depending on how much force you need. You can wedge a long open-ended wrench into a safe area of the recess and use it as a lever, but often if you put the car into reverse or drive, wherever the knob is pointed directly at the ceiling, and give it a good hard yank, it will break loose. Be careful when pulling out the knob. Pull it directly straight up, but with your face out of the way, because the selector will snap loose and may strike you in the face. You will be left with the stock and a plastic plunger at the top. Now, the adapter, which is included in the price of the knob for automatics, comes with the knob. First, check the adapter. Often these will ship with one toggle nut inside the cylinder itself, slightly recessed inside the cylinder. If that's the case, the adapter won't fit until you pull the rubber rig down on the outside and adjust that one knob back flush with the cylinder. With that problem fixed, the adapter should slide completely over the stick. Find a position that's comfortable and which works freely, and then tighten the assembly back into place using the short stump screws on the inside of the channel and on the adapter. These are the ones that you may have had to loosen already in order to make the adapter fit. Your old boot and mounting plate will cover the new adapter. Affix the stone knob using the custom adapter inside the knob and replace everything else. Now, the release button function that was on the old gear selector is operated by simply pushing the stone knob down. Again, models will vary. I will try to work with you. These are typically very simple devices that can be disassembled and reassembled by someone with basic mechanical skills.